The City Eternal, Chapter 1, The Homecoming. I have not had a vision or even been able to talk to animals for years. This fact used to bother me when I was the runt among so many strong, tall, and beautiful people. But now that I am 17 and am going to graduate soon, I could not care less. Sure, I could complain, bemoan the fact that I am one of the unlucky ones, cut off from nature, and annoy everyone with said moaning. Or I could smile, remind myself that I live in the greatest nation on earth, Zebra Nation, and just get on with my life. Anywhere else I would be discarded, thrown out like garbage. But in Zebra Nation, I know I will be taken care of my whole life, regardless of my credentials, accomplishments, or in my case, complete and utter lack thereof. Bless the living forest, I mutter to myself. It is what they always say here, and it is so very true. We are truly blessed. I am truly blessed. And I am out of breath. Here I am on the crest of a hill, the morning dew still lighting up the ferns, my legs throbbing, aching and heavy, my eyes burning because of the sweat dropping from my unkempt hair. The ferns are intertwining and dancing with English ivy to make a bridge over the chasm below, as strong as any tree itself. I tell myself that I do not have time to dilly and dally and stand in awe of everything. I need to just keep moving forward and try not to look down. I need to not worry that I do not have the same physical strength or connection as others. I can still do this, and if I cannot, someone will help. I hear the laughs and cheers of my classmates ahead of me. Someone up ahead is singing. I'm barely breathing and they are singing. Really. Actually, several people are singing. How annoying. I wheeze and curse as I try to catch up to them, clawing at the bridge of ivy. In my haste, I burn my hands when I run them along the vines. 1,000 small insects come and tend to my wound. I thank them, although I'm not sure if they understand me. A familiar laugh comes from up ahead. Are you still trying to do this all yourself? The same voice asks without a hint of bitterness. I force a smile. I guess I am, Zephyr, but in my defense, I can't talk to the animals like most of you all, I say. You cannot talk to the animals? He asks. He seems genuinely confused and stares at me blankly. Ever since my mother's death, I said. Oh, right, he said, blushing. I just forget since you were so talented as a young bud and since I still see such potential in you. I know, I said, but I am really not so hot anymore, and now I am a branch and about as useless as a rotting old log. But it is okay. Things happen for a reason, right? Zephyr nervously smiles, a sad kind of pitying smile. Then he looks at the others. Why not just use an eku to help you along, he asks. He stares at me blankly, stupidly, once more. Maybe because I can no longer talk to them? I say. Zephyr smiles. Of course, Cloud, of course. I'm sorry for being so slow. I feel a bit frustrated, but his smile dissipates any tension, any animosity I had felt. I guess it's one of his tricks. He knows how to talk to people, as well as animals and plants, better than most, and better than me for sure. I sure as the living forest wish that I could do what he does. Sure, I get along with others, but even when I'm trying to be kind to others, to put up a good front, I have a tendency to push others away without realizing why. Zephyr whistles loudly, and a tall, muscular antelope-anteater hybrid-like creature appears from out of the mist and forest. His back is soft with a layer of fat that makes it like a saddle. I jump on. Thank you, I say to Zephyr. Zephyr smiles. I'm not just doing this for you, Cloudy Sky. We all want to graduate sometime this moon, not next season. I nod. I try to force a laugh, but it comes out all weird and fake, and I'm glad he didn't hear me too clearly. I just ride behind him, trying to be invisible. I'm used to being the slowest one on the team, and I don't want to be any more of a burden. So, what are you doing after graduation? I ask. Zephyr smiles. Nothing much, he tells me, trying to dodge the question. He bounds off on his lean, muscular legs, and my Iku follows. Oh, come on, I want to know. You always have such interesting stories, I say, like the time you ran across the East Forest in a blizzard. You never did tell me how you did that. He laughs. A genuine laugh. Mostly I just watched the moon. The moon told me what the blizzard was going to be like. The bears I saw led me to an herb that kept me warm. The prints I saw along the way told me the best path. It was all fairly elementary. You may have lost some ability to connect with animals, but you can still use your brain if you try. And I bet you could do most of what I did, Zephyr said. I guess so, I say, trying not to sound too sarcastic or jealous or bitter or annoyed, all of which I am currently feeling. To tell the truth, I knew some of the basics of tracking and herbal medicine, but I was far behind most of my classmates and felt like maybe I would never, ever catch up. Well, Zephyr says, I didn't want to say anything, but you're like a bird that never leaves others alone and never seems to pick up on any social clue that is given. I blush. It's true, unfortunately. But to answer your question, he says, I am not doing much. Just me and some of the other runners are going to the Overlook to hang out. Oh wow, I say, can I come? It's been a while since we really hung out, and I hear the Overlook is quite amazing at sunset. You are a bird, Zephyr says, and I like you, but many of the others would view you as a gnat. Zephyr smiled that same brilliant smile, but he quickly looked away. I'm truly sorry, he says. Oh, I say, I understand. I stare absent-mindedly at the tree houses, the canopy decorated with lights and signs, and the beautifully caretaken lush forest as we pass them, and I get lost in thought as the living forest passes by. I'm sorry, he says, but maybe next time. Yeah, maybe next time, I say. I am not certain there will be a next time, but I try not to think of that. I don't think about the vast emptiness of my life ahead of me. I don't say a word. I just hold tight to the Iku. I hear the laughter of 100 teenagers, all giddy as they run. I try to laugh again and stop, because it's obvious how forced it is. So I just stare out at the living forest again, at the misty mountains, and at the eastern slough that I try to breathe in calmness like we were taught by the elders, to breathe in the mist of waterfalls as we go past them. I nearly choke as I breathe in a darkened fly. Life is good, isn't it, Cloud? Zephyr says. It is, I say, and it's a beautiful day. Perfect. Zephyr smiles and says, now let's hurry up so we don't make everyone late. I smile. I don't know why he puts up with me, but I'm glad that he does. And looking over the forest, I smile. Again, as anxious as I am, it doesn't erase the beauty of this place, the community we have both with each other and the forest all around us. We all crest another hill. The path the vines make dances along the tree's canopy before delving back underground. Gems and fireflies dimly light up the cavern. I close my eyes as the Iku rapidly descends, wanting to savor the magical moment when we come out the other side. I've seen the graduation race, the homecoming race, at least 8 times. I would have seen it more, but I was sick often as a child. The ornate tapestries and decorations that make up the reception area made both by animals, plants, and humans always amazed me. The food, perfect blends of berries, greens, nuts, and grains, cooked and gathered and given freely by all manner of plants and animals, really made this a special occasion for us, even though animal help was far from unusual. I could hear the high-pitched calls of green birds, the whines of wild Ikus, the sighing of whistle trees, and the soft tinkering of men playing on harpsophones. It was pure beauty and effortlessly harmonized. Us, soon to be graduates, all emerged out of the cave into an arena, 1,000 or more people cheering as we raced by. The overseer announcing the winner of the homecoming race from the top of a perch in front of the stand where the crowd was. The crowd cheers, not just loudly, but deafeningly. And in first place, the short man bellowed, "Bright Star!" The audience erupted, and Bright raised his arms as he ran by. He slowed down, and we all slowed down beside him. We all smiled, and one by one we hugged him. This took a while. There were words, there was congratulations, and there was laughter. The overseer then came down and crowned him. The crown, upon reaching his head, silkworms that were nested in it sent forth silk that encircled his body quickly in a multitude of hues, creating a beautiful, ornate green and gold suit, shoes, and cape. "Enjoy your year off," Zephyr said. "We will be waiting for you come next spring." Bright smiled, then led us all in a marching dance that began the festivities. After we danced, the overseer talked again, something about the greatness of Zebra Nation and how much he envied our youth. I wasn't listening, but as I looked over at my classmates, some talking, some laughing, it became obvious not many were listening. We were all too drunk on the moment, impatiently waiting to become adults officially. Then finally, it came. One by one, he called us down to his perch, handed us our papers of graduation, and said a few good words to each and every one of us. I waited patiently. Because I was the least accomplished, I was the last of 345 students. "Cloudy sky," he said, smiling. I walked on stage, trying to fake confidence. He handed me my papers and smiled. I paused. "Aren't you going to say anything?" I asked. He had said something to everyone before me. He smiled broadly and simply repeated, "Congratulations." "Thank you then," I say, stuttering and nearly tripping as I rush off the stage. My hands tremble and I walk around in circles as the crowd disperses. "What is wrong with me?" I mumbled to myself. Why did I insist he say something, and why did it make me so nervous? It doesn't matter. Zephyr smiles and laughs as he points at me, and several of his runner friends join in. I smile and wave, but they just keep laughing. I know Zephyr's laugh is kind and genuine, but I am not sure about his friends. My face flushes red, and I step away from the crowd and the sea of smiling faces. A squirrel hands me a cup of wine, my first, and certainly not my last. I drink it in one gulp. It helps the shaking. I freeze in place for a moment, unsure if I want to go back. I smile again as Zephyr and his friends, still laughing, and turn away because I cannot bear the jealousy I feel when watching them. The music starts again, and this time it is even more beautiful, like it knows just the exact notes that will harmonize with my body, my heart especially. The weather and everything about the evening is almost like a dream, and all of the people stand and chat or dance in their cliques. I watch it all alone. I soak it all up, but after a while just watching it from the outside, it is quite boring, so I then go back to a table in the back, away from the lush canopy and in a quiet hole in the rhododendrons where my only family waits. "Hello, Father," I say. "I've graduated." He smiles. He says nothing for a while, his eyes fixed on the distance, lost in thought. Then he looks over, clears his throat, and stands as tall as his short body will allow. He is still taller than me. "Congratulations, Cloud." "So what's next?" he asks, his solemn face turning suddenly cheerful and bright. "I don't know," I tell him. "It's not like I had my vision while holding on for dear life on the back of an ecu." He looks at me with a detached expression and then smiles. "I wish I could take you into my work and have you as an apprentice," he said. "That's how it was done in the old days." "It's okay that you can. I know I will be taken care of here," I say. He grunts. Of course. The ones in charge know what they're doing. The seers can see more than us common folk, he says. I'm not sure he believes it, but he sounds like he wants to believe it. And do you think I could have been a good builder like you? I ask. My father laughs. No, but you definitely aren't a whisperer or a seer. And I know I am no runner, I say. We both laugh. We watch the festivities from afar, and we laugh. When the laughing eventually dies down, I sigh. I'm sorry I'm such a failure, I say. He looks at me sadly. Way to change the mood, Cloudy. But what happened? It's not your fault. He says, things happen for a reason. Yes, I say, things happen for a reason. Bless the living forest that we are as lucky as we are, and that its wisdom and the wisdom of our elders is here to guide us. He senses my unease and puts a hand on my shoulder. My boy, he says, do not fret, do not cry for what you are not. Be happy for what you are and where you are. You live in a good time. The old days were so much cruder, so much worse. Here and now, you will always be taken care of. You will always have a place. So what if you weren't meant to be a builder or much of anything? This is simply the way of things. Thank you, I say. Heed my words, boy. Remember, don't wish for things the way they were, he repeats. Accept the way things are and make them beautiful. I smile. Thank you for your wise words, I say. I think I need some rest. He smiled back at me. Aren't you and some of your friends doing any after graduation shenanigans? He asks. Aren't you at least going to say goodbye? I will see them sometime, but I will not burden them with my presence of a gnat, with the presence of a gnat today, I say. Surely not all of them hate you, he said. And I am so very thankful for that, I say, and then turn to walk out. It's a long walk back to my home. I don't mind, though, gives me time to plan my future, I guess. I walk for a while, a few miles in the fading light of dusk. At the top of a hill, I look back at the crowd. Now they all seem as small as mice, and my problems seem so tiny they don't matter at all. It's not so bad that Zephyr didn't invite me on his adventure, I tell myself. I need sleep more than excitement, anyway. Still, I stand, watching the party for a good 10 minutes. My heart and my head are a mix of emotions. Wanting to stay, wanting to leave, excitement, sadness, confusion, a bit of nausea. I cannot see much from this distance. What I can see is blurry, and I can't be sure, but as I watch, I swear I see the queen, luscious Copperhead, chatting it up and dancing with the crowd. Then she turns, seems to notice me, and seems to stare right at me, with a piercing gaze that makes me turn away. I have to be imagining things, I tell myself. There's no way she can see me this far away. And if she could, there's no reason to think she is staring at me anyway. Despite what my logical mind tells me, I can't muster up the courage to look again, and so I just walk the rest of the way home, not quite sure what I saw. The soft hooting of owls and a warm summer breeze accompany me. I arrive at my home, an amazing twisty treehouse with firefly lights and beaverwood beams. All beautifully handmade and decorated carefully. It is one of a kind, even if it is a little too similar to the other dozen treehouses that line my street. I go in, fall into my bed, and sleep overtakes me almost immediately.